Folks, my name is Timmy. Did you guys like the intro? I spent 17 seconds making that fancy intro. So we could celebrate today with... What are we celebrating? Roaring skies. Ah, yes. Your stepsister was printed to oblivion. What are we celebrating today? Hold on, what are we going to celebrate today? Let's celebrate this. Oh! Uh-oh. Today we're celebrating... I don't know. Sun and moon? Sun and something. This is a PSA video to warn and discuss with you all that, remember, just because you can't get product, pick a card. Any card. I promise you, you'll never guess what card this is. Every single one is completely different. You'll never guess. I'm kidding. They're all the same. Nobody really cares. So, I want to address a couple little comments today in the poking your mom world. And that is, just remember, folks, when the market's really strong, everyone behaves a certain way. When the market is off the chart red hot, like it is now, you're going to see everybody kind of start to go to backup plans, last resorts. Everyone's going to start trying to do their little Patreon things. Everyone's going to do the wholesales. And you're going to start seeing all these new businesses and little Rudies. I like that. Lil Rudy. Not little. Lil Rudy. L-I-L Rudy. You're going to see, you're going to start to see interesting things. And then you'll start to see a lot of American sellers selling Japanese Pokemon. And you all keep asking me, Rudy, are you going to expand into Japanese Pokemon? Let me give you guys a short answer, and I'll give you the long answer. The short answer, as far as my attitude towards Japanese Pokemon booster boxes and sealed product, and having to work with overseas individuals and deal with international logistics and shipping and customs and potential fees, and, well, many of these people require you to pay up front, and there's a golden rule, you just don't trust most of those people. So the short answer is absolutely not will I be selling you all or carrying Japanese Pokemon or importing it from overseas. Now understand a few things. When English product is impossible to get because now it's not deemed garbage product, everybody wants it now, unlike a few years ago, you're going to start to see stores need to have product on their shelves. So usually they're going to start to go to the next best thing. Let's get some Japanese Pokemon sealed product. Now, in normal market conditions, Japanese Pokemon doesn't sell that well in the United States in normal market conditions. In this market, yeah, non-English sealed product actually sells. And stores can make a profit. You can make $5, $10, $20 a box, and depending on the volumes, the quantities, and what set you're dealing with. But just understand something. For those of you who haven't been around for a couple market cycles of 5, 10, maybe a 15-year block, the problem with doing this is the market will eventually turn. When the market turns, the items that fall the hardest are non-English sealed product. When the market weakens, and not even crashes, just the market returns to a normal state, you have to be extraordinarily careful. So when people ask me, well, Rudy, you have the resources, you have the space, why aren't you carrying Japanese Pokemon products? And the answer is nothing to do with the money, or that I can get it, or that I can sell it to you all and make a profit. The answer is risk. Everything I do is based on risk tolerance. I don't make decisions based on, wow, I could I could import a bunch of Pokemon and just sell it in the US here. Making decisions based on the current environment is not what CEOs and not what leaders and not what people who run businesses, it's not really how it works. If you ever watched the movie Margin Call, if you haven't, I don't know why you're even watching this YouTube channel. There's a very infamous scene, and the CEO, when they realize everything's going to hell in 2008, he makes a nice little speech about why he's a CEO. What do you think he does here? And essentially the point of these CEOs and the reason they get paid what they do is their job is to try to predict and understand the overall momentum and direction of markets. That's pretty much it. It's not to play the game. It's not for Rudy to enjoy playing Pokemon or Magic or anything. It's to try to forecast and navigate the ship. And as a ship navigator, 50 long years. Sorry, too many ships. Based on that attitude alone, I do not believe in the business model of Pokemon of importing non-English products, stocking it, carrying it, or anything. They don't perform the same as their English counterparts. They don't have the same print runs. They don't have the same demand, because the problem is when we return... See, there's some interesting, deeper thoughts you can have on these things. Number one, well, Rudy, what are the potential? Well, the market either goes up or the market goes down, right? Aren't those the only two outcomes? No, Timmy. In the real world, the degrees and the shades of gray are what destroy empires and ruin businesses. The markets don't just go up or down. This is why options and derivatives and degenerate gamblers always fail. Well, Rudy, I'm going to place a bet that NVIDIA is going to go higher. Well, what do you think? Well, you're probably right. NVIDIA is probably going to go higher. I don't see why it probably won't unless the whole thing's fake. It's probably going to go higher. That's not the argument. The argument is the degree and the rate of change, and it's not whether NVIDIA or a stock or an investment goes up or down. What if it stays flat? What if it does absolutely nothing and trends sideways for 6 months? What if we have a kangaroo market and every time it pops up some, we have a dead cat bounce and it goes right back down and pops right back up? We have a kangaroo market. What if we go into a market where it just kind of barely moves up 1-2% a year for inflation and really the product's not doing anything? What if the overall market shifts and everybody turns on Pokemon and they say Pokemon's dead? It sounds silly now, but eventually that attitude will return to the market and people won't even know what the words. If I make a video saying scalper, people are going to say, what's he talking about? A scalper? Who uses that word? Is Rudy, what's wrong with him? He's terrible. So my issue is right now people are going for the second and third choices, which is how do I get Japanese product? How do I import stuff? How do I get other sources of product? In some stores, they have to do this. They don't have a choice. It's not that they choose to. They're being forced to. But understand, not when the market collapses, when the market returns to normal, which I expect to happen between literally, let's say, 9, if we're lucky, the market returns to normal, not crashes, not go straight, just back to a normal market conditions. Short, if on the low side, I'd say 6 to 9 months. On the long side, 2 to 3 years. So based on historical Rudy old man, I think we're luckily on the short end 6, on the long end 24 months. So we are between 6 months and 24 months until I believe the market goes back to normal. I didn't say go to zero. I didn't do all this memes. So based on that alone, if 6 months from now the market returns to normal and Pokemon starts printing all these new Scarlet Violet, SVO 8, 9, 10, and everything does very well and supply ramps up and the market booster boxes of new Pokemon Journey Together or Team Rocket or whatever's coming in a year from now come out and they're selling back to 120, 130, if you're holding a lot of Japanese sealed booster boxes of Pokemon, I'm not saying you're going to lose your ass, but I'm just saying you better reevaluate what you're doing because of the market. See, it's not that the products become bad. It's that the consumer in the United States, their attitude changes. And that's really what you have to navigate if you're becoming a seller, a store, a collector, an evil investor, or Rudy's stepsister. Either one of these situations, you have to evaluate how the market's going to view you. and how the market's going to desire the item you're selling. If the market goes back to normal, which I believe it's going to happen sooner than you all think, not crash, normal would be fine. New releases of Pokemon come out, maybe stores sell them for $150. Pokemon Center has them for their $161 plus tax, and everything's kind of just more in a normal range versus this extreme situation where we have every single resale business in the United States demanding Pokemon. I'm hearing stories that oil change places are getting a case of Pokemon because they're requesting it as a business. I'm hearing stories that gas stations all over the country are requesting one case of, Journey Together. I'm hearing stories that literally like tile, wallpaper, and flooring stores are having a case of Pokemon at the register to upsell with their kids while the parents are buying flooring for their house. So what's happening is the same pie is being chopped so thin, we all feel like we're in elementary school and it's a pizza party, and we're excited, and the slice of pizza we're getting is so thin, we're going, really? That's what's happening. It's not that they're not printing enough or they're overprinting. It's just the pie is very, very thin right now. So distributors are using spend rates, and they're using things like, did you support Pokemon in the downturn? They're using other variables to determine, pretty much allocations, which for some of you all out there, you're getting wrecked from it, and other people out there are angry that other people are getting more than they deserve. Depending on what side of the coin you're on, is going to dictate your emotional response. So, back to the end of the video here, which is the beginning of the video, which is when I first met your stepsister for breakfast. And that is, when the market goes to normal, my concern is Japanese sealed product is outside my risk tolerance. So when the market goes back to normal ranges where English booster boxes are between, I'm not going to say 100 or less, that ain't happening, but English booster boxes go back to 120, 130, 140, 150 for a new release, between 120s and 150s before tax. When that happens, the Japanese counterparts are going to be very red flag risky. And that is outside my comfort zone for deploying capital in the amount of risk I'm willing to take. That is the problem. Let me give you guys a fun little side story before I end the video here. So when I went to the bathroom the other day and I took I'm kidding. Let me give you all a real side story. When I was in college and this one stepsister came over and she was supposed to do laundry for us, but then she had to call me from her cell phone. And as she was putting the clothes in the washing machine, she was bent over on it and she got stuck. Her hand was stuck. I don't know, her jewelry and her hair was, so this beautiful lady was stuck, bent over by the washing. That's not the story either? Okay. So let me give this last story in this video. About a year ago, real story, no more memes. You guys stop screwing around. You shouldn't even be smiling watching this channel. Am I smiling right now? No, every time one of you all smile, I shrink an inch. So about a year ago, I had a couple opportunities, and one of them stood out pretty glaring, and that was One Piece. During the One Piece boom, where every One Piece box from OP 1, 2, 3, 4, you couldn't get. And the prices were all $200, $300, $400, $500 a box. And actually, a lot of them are still that expensive. I had a couple opportunities between a distributor, a couple patrons, and even a couple local friends who tried to ask, think we should do a deal. And it was non-English One Piece sealed booster boxes in cases. And at first, I was like, holy cow. And it was some outrageous, too good to be true thing. It was like $39 for like OP1, like the first One Piece set. And I was like, but the catch was, I think it was like Korean or Chinese. It wasn't English or Japanese. It was a simplified Chinese? Traditional? Maybe it was Korean. It was a different language outside English. And at first I was super excited. I was like, dude, should I buy like 5,000 boxes and do this? And as I did further research, not only did I discover that the other particular language of the product was a lot weaker, I also kind of poked and did some polling with a couple people in stores, and they all warned me heavily that, number one, most U.S. consumers will not buy that product. Number two, if they buy this product, it's because it's their second or third choice, and they're only willing to do it because it's cheap. And then lastly, this one store owner told me, remember, Rudy, when One Piece, owned by Bandai, when Bandai reprints the English boxes, this other product, non-English in the United States, will essentially become as big of a paperweight as your left nut. And that scared me. It really did. Not because of the left nut in the washing machine, but it became a situation where I realized I didn't fully understand the level of risk involved. I was so excited for an opportunity to buy a bunch of products, and all of a sudden I was like, whoa, wait a minute. There's a lot higher degree of risk here than my brain, I was not even wired to understand that this is outside my risk tolerance. And that reminds me of the Pokemon situation. The point is, I know One Piece is nowhere near the size of Pokemon. I understand Japanese Pokemon is still a huge market, but I'm talking about U.S. stores, U.S. sellers, and U.S. collectors over here. There is a substantial difference. You can make a lot of money in it. But for me, it's outside the amount of risk that I'm willing to take, assuming that the market turns. As long as things stay red hot, nobody can get there's no Pokemon left in the world, as long as that continues, then people selling Japanese Pokemon are going to do very well. But when it shifts, it's going to be dirty. It's going to be dirty. And that's the kind of thing. Because remember, a couple other last few tidbits before I end this video. Remember, folks, when you do business with anything internationally, logistics or air freight or sea freight or anything, the time you make those decisions, or maybe you do a wire or make a payment, or maybe you wait for delivery to make payment, maybe depending on your terms, who knows. Remember, there could be a 1 month, a 2 month, it could be a 3 to 6 month delay till you get the product. And as we've all learned, because that's one of the times I got clobbered in the crash of 2022 when inflation and gas went crazy in the summer. And I got annihilated because literally patrons stopped buying. Magic was on fire sale with Amazon dumps. Cynthia Williams was slipping cigarettes and everything just started to crumble. And if I didn't have the financial strength and the ability to hit the brakes as hard as possible, I was bleeding capital and cash. I was negative cash flow, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a month. And by 3-4 months into this, I was like, whoa, we got to throttle back on pre-orders. We got to pump the brakes hard, because I didn't know how long that downturn would last. This is why I bring up that time period, because it was an incredible learning lesson. Now, of course, fast forward to 2025, most of those items I got stuck with and nobody wanted, it's all recovered. Some of it's new all-time highs, some of it's break even, some of it I still have, some of it I've been selling, some of it I kept. It's all different, but it's important to understand we don't always know the amount of risk we're taking. And it's difficult when you get excited for an opportunity that's too good to be true, or you're like, wow, this is the Japanese version of prismatic evolutions. They're like, oh my God, this is so much cheaper. Just understand, the market prices things different like that for a reason. And you may not fully understand why that is until we enter a new phase. And that's important for people who are serious about this industry to understand. If you just want to enjoy the cards, crack packs, grade your cards, collect whatever, then this whole video, I don't even know why you're watching this channel. Welcome to Costco, I love you. I don't fucking know. So, but for people who are really into this long term, and you really want to navigate this life in cardboard, these are the type of things that are very, very important learning lessons. So, that's all I have today, folks. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're watching this video, we should be entering March of 2025, which means we got Journey Together coming up, you guys. Buckle up, buttercups. I will be selling them by the full ETB cases to patrons, slightly under whatever market is at release. Who the hell knows what price that'll be? And of course, the booster boxes will be offered at release. And of course, we got a lot of fun things. I think we're, 4 weeks away from the new Magic Tarkir Dragonstorm set. And I will be doing that with Commander decks, play boxes. Play boxes should be the normal $100 shipped, right? The Rudy price? Because there's like the Eighth of Drift. And of course, collector boxes. And there's apparently, I was told, which I should have ordered more, Tarkir Dragonstorm is the new commander set with the 5 different decks, kind of the annual big commander set. So heads up on that one, because historically those are the kind of the top performers long term. So a lot of you guys have been messaging me about that, and I feel like I may have underordered on that one. Yikes. That's about it. Past that, let's see here. I think that's all I got. I'm going to let it be there. Thanks for watching, everybody. You'll have a beautiful day out there. Giggity. Penis.